Hello?
Yeah, I could hear.
You hear me? All right. Just trying to
Yeah,
find a
Silas, who's less of an undress, me or Baron Horowitz? I'm not sure.
Well, at least Chachi has tzitzis on.
How do you know I don't?
I guess. All right, let's go. You hit the record? Yeah, you hit the record.
Yeah, we're recorded. You're good.
What did we get up to? Top line? Think so, no?
They're like 2 or 3 lines down.
Oh, yeah,
Right
top
before,
second line.
Amar Kahana, I think. Amar Kahana.
who was Masada, Mishnah, and Gemara? I think you're up to there.
Yeah, Rebbe Reb Nosson, right? Second line down.
Oh, maybe even okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rebbe Reb Nosson, Saif Mishnah. Rebbe and Reb Nosson were the end of Mishnayos. Right? And meaning Rashi says it means the Saif of the Tanaim. And then Rav Ashi with Ravina, Saif Hayra. They were considered the Saif of Hayra, which is from the word Amayroim. That's the same word Amayroim. Meaning, Rebbe and Reb Nosson, it's interesting because Reb Nosson doesn't get the credit, right, as much as Rebbe. That the Mishnayos were put together by Reb Nosson, by Reb Nosson and Rebbe. Right? But anyway, so the Mishnayos was Rebbe and Reb Nosson, and Gemara was Rav Ashi and Ravina. It's very interesting Rashi's to go the history of Shtickle. Rashi goes through. Seems like Rashi's basically saying that there was no organized. It wasn't organized at all. Just somebody would come into Bismedrish and just say whatever he wanted to say, and then they worked from there, and then they put it all together. The Simonech, and a very interesting simon to remember that Ravina Rav Ashi ad avay al mikdash shekel avina lachrisam. Right, mikdash from, so the last words there are shin and yud, so that's Rav Ashi, and Avina Lachareim is Ravina. Those were the Acherim. Those were the Seif, the simon for the Seif Hayra. Right? The Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky has a whole shtickle Torah. I think it's Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. Yeah, I think. He says that there were different kufas, that different svarim just put an end to that door. Meaning the Rambam was like the last of the Rishonim Paiskim, and then the Shulchan Aruch was the last of those Paiskim Achronim, and then he said Mishnah Brura was the end from that door, right? And he said those were the major svarim. So I guess that's just a continuation from the Tanoim, Ameroim. Yeah. Anyways, some Rav Kahana, Ishtoili Rav Chama Babarti Dechasa. So Rav Chama, the son of the daughter of Chasa, told me, Rav Barachmeni Agav Shmada Noch Nafshe, because of Shmad, because he was afraid of, what do you call it? Shmad?
Conversion.
What do you say? Conversion?
Yeah.
Religious persecution.
Oh, the religious persecution, meaning, but not. I mean, they were going to go after him to try and make him into a guy, right? That's usually what Shmad is, but it's interesting because through the story.
Yeah, it's not really making him a guy over here. It was just
right. It doesn't sound.
They was just the tax evasion, old.
Right, they just wanted to kill him. It sounds like they just wanted to kill him. Right. Okay. Well, let's see the story. So, anyways, Ochlube Kurtzebe Malka. What they did is they in the king's house, they not Ochlu from the word Achila. Achalu mean they tried to do him in. They tried they ratted him out. Amru, what did they say? There's one Jewish Gavra, the Kamavato Trace Alfi Gavrim Yisrael. He's Mavato 12,000 people from Kal Yisrael. Yarcha Bekaito, Yarcha, meaning he takes away 12,000 Yidden from tax, basically what it's gonna say. Right? Yarcha Bekaita, 1 month in the summer. Bekaita means in the summer, right? And the Yarcha Sisva, 1 month in the winter. Mekarga de Malka, from the tax of the Melech. Why? Shador Pristika de Malka Basrei, because they sent a Pristika de Malka, meaning because they told him that he pulls them out to yeshiva, right? For a month in the winter and a month in the summer, and Memela, they're not around when the taxes are paid, so they don't pay taxes. So they sent the Pristika after him, like the cops. They couldn't find him. So Orak Vazim Pumbedisa La Akra. So what he did is he ran away from Pumbedisa to Akra, me Akra La Agma, me Agma Lashkin, Mishkin Latrifa, Metrifa Laena Damim, Umeina Damim Pumbedisa, Ashkeche, and Pumbedisa, that they found him. Meaning, I don't know why the Gemara has to go through all of his travels, but they found him in Pumbedisa, Ikla, Pristika, Damalka, Lahu, Shpiza de Rabba. So this Pristika went and he went to the hotel that Rabba was staying in, or the house. But it seems like he didn't know he was there. It just happens to be that they were both there. Krivu Taka Kame. So they brought a table in front of this Pristika, in front of this officer, Vashku Trekas, and they gave him 2 kaises to drink. Now, 2 kaises is zugim, like we learned in Arvei Psachim. Now, zugim can cause problems. So V'daluya Lataka Mikame, and then they took the table away from him. Hadar Patsufe La'achayre, and his face turned to the back. I don't know exactly what this means. It turned inside out, or his face spun on like a bobblehead. Right? Instead, you put the head on it and the other way. Maybe. Whatever it is, something bad happened to him because he had zugas. So Amrulay, so they said to him, Man never, they heard that Rabba was there, meaning the people from the Pundiki, the hosts, heard that he was there. Amrulay, my never, what should we do? What should we do for him? Gavra de Malko, he's from the king. Amrulu, he said to them, Krivu takala kamei v'shgu chad kasa. Bring him a table in front of him and give him another kais. I'm not sure what the importance of bringing a table in front of him was, but v'dalyu the takama kamei v'litzi, and then take the table away from him, and then he'll get better. So they did this and he got better. Amar, he said, meaning the cop, Amar made the person that I need is here. Meaning he chap that only somebody like Rabbah would know this healing. So Bachash Babasrei Vashkeche. So then he looked for him and then he found him. Amar, he said, Azlina Meha. He said, I'm leaving from here. Imiktal Kotlu Lahu Gavra. If they kill that person, meaning he's talking in third person, like Maglina, I won't be Magalit. Meaning I have a koras atay for you. If they not offer, if they threaten to kill me, I'll die. But if they are going to punish him, right, then Maglina, then I'm going to have to be Magalit, because suffering is worse than death. Right? Which I hate to bring it in when we bring it into Nyana Diyama, but they keep finding hostages. We hope that they were killed. We hope if they're dead already. You hope that they were killed already months ago, and not that they didn't have to go with the suffering from these animals. Right? That's what he's saying. He's saying that death is better than the suffering. Anyways, so Asyula, so that part of the story, this next part of the story is not in there. So they must have found him. It doesn't say whether this guy was Megalit, he was not Megalit. I don't know. So anyways, Asyula Kameh, they brought Rabbi Baruch Meini in front of the king. Ailala Adruna, and they put him into a room, the Tarki above Anfe, and they locked the door in front of him. Boy Rachme, and then he asked for Rachmanas, meaning he davened. Parak Yeshiosa, and then the whole wall fell down, and Arak Lagma, and then he ran away to an Agam. He ran away to an Agam. The Agam is a swamp. I don't know exactly what he did by the swamp, but he ran to a swamp. Hava Yosef, Agir the Kula, and I guess next to the swamp there was the base of a decal tree, of a palm tree. The Kagaris, and he sat down to learn. Kamifli even Mesifta the Rakia.
He went to an Agam before when he was running. Went with Agma Agma, remember? So this is nice another Agam, or he went back to the previous swamp. Maybe.
No, but before it was. I thought that was the name of a city before.
Agma, Agma, Lashkin,
Yes.
Lashkin.
I thought those are names of cities.
This is spelled the same way.
It is. You're right. It's a good point. There's got to be something to that.
Okay.
Right. That's an interesting point. But L'chaira here means an Agam, as we'll see from the Gemara. And before it was the name of a city. Anyways, as he was sitting by the Agam learning, so there was a machlokes going on in Shemayim. Right? We've had a lot of kashas, but we haven't really discussed it. Of a Torah Leiba Shemayim, he sure seems like there's a lot of Torah Shemayim that's going on. I mean, obviously there's Torah and Shemayim, but that they're. I guess this Gemara shows that the Shemayim wanted to know what was going on in the world. Okay, let's see. So what's the machlokes? Because in Beheres Kaidemus L'Seyar Lavan. Let's say the Beheres, which is the tzaras spot, so it has to grow a hair in it. So in Beheres Kaidemus L'Seyar Lavan, let's say the spot comes before a white hair. Tame, he's Tame. Vim Seyar Lavan Kaidem L'Heres. But if the white hair grows before the tzaras spot, tar is tar. So suffix. What about a suffix? Meaning, we don't know which one came first. Meaning, the din is that if the tzaras is there first and then the white hair, then he's tummy. If it's the white hair and then the tzaras, he's tar. Suffix. Because Baruch Hu tar. Hashem said it's tar. The kulu mesifta the rakia amri tummy, and everybody in the mesifta the rakia disagreed and said it's tummy. Let's go figure that out. That they're having a machlokes with Hashem. That's pretty good, right? Amri, when they say man noichach, who's going to prove which way we go? Noichach Rabbi Bar Nachmani, so it'll be Rabbi Nachmani. Rabbi Bar Nachmani, ani yochid bin negoyim. I am a yochid in negoyim, ani yochid bayalos. Meaning I'm the man to go to for negoyim, for tzaras. I'm the one to go to for in oilos. So shadru shlicha basrei. So they sent the shliach to him. Lo have a motzi malach hamavos the mekaravle, but the malach hamavos couldn't get close to him. Meaning they sent the shliach that he should die to bring him up to Shemayim. So why can't they get his opinion without him having to die? Also, I don't know. Okay, but the lo have a kapasik pumi megirsa, since he didn't stop learning adahachi neshav zika. Meaning he couldn't get to him. Sorry, it's one long sentence. The Malach HaMavos couldn't get to him because we didn't stop learning, right? We had that Gemara, we have the David HaMelech, that was by David HaMelech, was also by Rav Huna, no? Right? So anyways, Adahachi Neshav Zika, then the wind blew, right? Then the wind blew, Va'avish Beini Kani, and it made the noise of the trees, the leaves. Savar Gundu the Parshihu. So when he heard the rustling, I guess, of the leaves, so he thought it was the army, the Parshihu, the army of the soldiers of the horses. Right? Samar, he said, Tinach nafshe dahu gavro, let the person die. Right? V'lo yimasa b'yod the malchus, and let him not be handed over to the malchus. So fine, so that's how he died. So Omar, when he was dying, he said, Tar, it was tar. So Yotzabasko Omar, Ashrecha Rabbi Bar Nachmani, Shigufach tar, Yotzasa Nishmascha Batar, your goof is tar, and your neshama went out with tar, meaning I guess it's like a play on words. He was nifter while he said the din is tar.
The Marsha says that
What? So
he
what I
was
just
saying
said?
tahar because they had the machlokes tamei tahar. So when he was dying, he was saying tahar.
Said tar.
At the
Right.
halacha, yeah.
Yeah. So then and then this that they told him that he's tar stomach, right? He says that
Yeah.
too to Marshall?
He says it sounds like he's only going on Rava on Rava that said it. But I would assume it'd go on Shemaim too.
Right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
There's
It's
gotta
a
be,
play. I guess it's a play on words. It has to be.
there's
Anyways.
gotta be something else going on.
Yeah. So Nafal Piska Mirakiyat Pumpadisa. Then a note fell down from the sky in Pumpadisa. Meaning that was the way they communicated. Right? Rabbi Bar Nachmani Nisbakish Bishiva Shomala. That Rabbi Bar Nachmani was wanted in Yeshiva Shomala. Like Nafal Piska Mirakia, I think, is like the old version of the internet. Right? Somehow they found out on Pumpadisa that Rabbi Bar Nachmani was nifter. So Nafku, so they went out, Nafku Abayev, Rav, Kulu Rabbanon Lasukebe. So all the Rabbanon went out to be Isaac in him because they didn't know where his body was. They had to go do a search. Nobody knew where he was. Azul Agma, so they went to the Agam. I have no idea why they went to the Agam, but they went to the Agam. Chazu Sipari, the Matali Vakamis. They saw birds that were like they were flying around and they were staying in one spot. Amri, so they said Shmami Nahosam, who must be that he's over there, because the shade from the birds are making it that his body doesn't decay. So if do tlasa yomi, but tlasa leilus. So then they said a spade on him for 3 days and 3 nights. Nofal piska, and then another note fell down. Kala pirish, yehe benidi. Anybody who leaves is going to be in Chayrim, meaning whoever leaves that spadim now is going to be in Chayrim. So Savdu Shiva Yaimi, they made a hesped on him for 7 days. Nafal Piska, and then another note fell down. L'chula b'teichem l'shalom, go to your house in shalom. Fine. So then the story continues. The day that he was nifter, Dalia Zafa v'dari lahu taya kirochib gamla. Dalia Zafa, a strong wind, lifted up this Taya is like an Arab, traveling Arab, a merchant, while he was riding his gumel. So they lifted him up from this side of the Nahar Papa, and it sent him to the other side. That's how strong the wind was. Amar Maihais, they said, what is that? Amar Lei, they told him, Noch Nashi the Rabbi Bar Nachmani was nifter. Amar Lafanov. So this Arab said to Hashem, Rabbanisham, Kulei Alma Didachu, the whole world is yours. Rabbi Nachmani Didach, and Rabbi Nachmani is yours. Estarka Rabba at the Rabba Rabba Didach. Your rabbas, and meaning Rashi says you are loved by Rabba and you love Rabba. Yeah. Amai kam mechareves le la'alma. That if you love Rabba and he loves you, so why are you destroying the world? So then Noch Zafa, then the wind stopped. I have no idea what is the pshat in that, like who this Arab is, what he's telling Hashem what to do. I don't know. Yeah. So there's obviously much deeper meanings to this. Fine. Rav Shimon Chalafta, now we're back to the original, how we got started with this whole thing, the size of these Amiroim. So Rav Shimon Chalafta Bal Basar Hava. He was a Bal Basar, he was very fat. Yom Echad Hava Chamim Alei, and he was very hot one day. So Hava Salik, Yosef Ashina Detura. He went and he sat on the top of a mountain. Amar Allah Labarte, he told his daughter, Biti Hanifi Alai B'Menifo, wave a fan on me. Vani Eten, if you do that, Vani Eten Lach Kikrin Denarud, I'm going to give you some sort of good smelling plant. Adahachi Nishpazika, then the wind blew. Omar, and he said, Kama Kirkin Denarud the Mori Dehi. How many of these plants that he was going to give to his daughter belong to the one who makes this wind. I'm not exactly sure what the Gemara wants with this story either. Right? It's just, obviously, it's the connection is the wind blowing. Fine. Then the Mishnah says,
Rabbi, did you ever hear of I heard somebody once say maybe there's some Yerushalmi or some source in Chazal that the Amoraim that were very large, it was because of their Torah, like filled them up. You ever heard such a thing?
I've heard such a thing. It's Yerushalmi?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I heard like also Reb Chaim Kanievsky. He mamash barely ate anything, but he was not a small person. So
yeah, right.
You could say it was his metabolism, but I think there's some. I don't know where it is, but I heard that. You ever heard something like that?
Yeah. Is it not in the safe? Is it in the Reb Chaim Kanievsky book about him? Could it be?
Possible. I didn't read it.
The Gra also they say was very
They said
large,
about
right?
the Goyen, yeah. They said about the Goyen, yeah.
Right, and he. So I mean, it would explain a lot of these Gemaras too. Amoraim were so large. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Listen, I guess I know I have to lose weight, but I'm not. I guess I'm not there yet in their level. So maybe I'm a riot to it that it taka that it's doesn't work. I mean, whatever. That you got to be really fat to be learned. I don't. Yeah, I saw it. I thought maybe in the Reb Chaim book it says it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe somebody said it. Probably somebody quoted it when he was nifter or something. It's interesting. Okay, Hakol Kaminig Medina. Back to a non-agadative for like 5 lines. Hakol Kaminig Medina. So we said that the amount that you have to pay, or what you have to feed, is really goes according to the societal norms. So what's the Hakol? Why does the Mishnah say Hakol Kaminig Medina? We'll just say you do like the Minig Medina. So Hakol Asuyimai Lasuye Ba'asra Tenehigi Michrach Rifta Umishta. Anafka. It's all about where they make a sandwich, right? Well, that's what karach rifta literally means, a sandwich. It means they eat bread and they have a revius of this anafka drink. I mean, that's the norm. Because if the guy goes and he tells the workers, go to work and then I'll bring you this standard food, like a standard breakfast. I guess this is like not a, what do you call it? What do you call those things? An iced coffee and a Danish or something like that, right? See, if he says, if I'm going to bring it to you, Amru loy kol kaminach. We can tell him
continental breakfast.
Maybe, maybe I don't know. Do they give that to the electricians, Racham? Right. So meaning his point is that the owner. We thought maybe the owner could tell him, listen, go to work and I'll do delivery. I'll do delivery to the food. So we're saying you cannot, he can't do that. He does not have the right to do that. Okay. So there's a story of Yochanan and Masi that said to his son, say Uschar. Right. So the story was it was a couple of blot ago. So we'll just read through the story. He went and he rented out workers and then he told him he's going to feed them. So then he went to his father, right? Rabbi Yochanan ben Masi, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Masi told him, well, now if you told me you're going to feed him, you have to feed him kiroi, like a yid, which means you have to give them like Avram Avinu's suda, which is a lot of food, right? So then the Gemara asks, Maisa list, so you bring a Maisa that's a stira to the halacha you just said. The Mishnah just said that you have to give whatever the minig Medina is, and now you're going and telling your son that he agreed to feed them, and that he has to feed them like Avraham Avinu. Like what? It's a stira. And again, the Mishnah says you only have to feed them what's expected, right? And then he says the story. He's okay. I told him I'm going to feed them, and then he tells him, no, you got to feed them like Avraham Avinu. So what's the pshat? So the one says is something missing from the Mishnah. Within pasuk len mezainas, if he tells them mezainas on Tamid Beis now, riba lahen, then he meaning he added on to them, then you have to go with that. Meaning, if he decided to say that he's going to give more food, then you have to, then that's what you have to do. Ben Masi Shama Lebenoi say Schar Lanu Poilim. rent workers for us. For halach upasaklan bezainis, and he went and he gave them. He told them that he's going to feed them. Even if you give him like Shlomo Melech, you're not Yaitza. Shein b'nei Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, because they're b'nei Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Avram Avinu's sudas were very big. All right, so meaning that's because he offered them more food than the norm. So now the Gemara goes through. First, the Gemara is going to go through Shlomo Melech's food, and then Then we're going to have about 2 blot worth of all the stories of Avram and the Malachim. Yeah. Anyway, so the Gemara says the Memra.
What do we say? What do we always use Suda Shlomo Melech B'Shaita as a standard? If it's not the standard, it's a shvach. It's shvach.
It's not. It's shvacher than Avram Avinu.
Yeah, so then it shouldn't be. So
We should say like Sudas Avram.
Big deal. Shlomo Melech made a big suda for everybody, but it wasn't as good as the Zayda suda. So who cares? And he was the richest guy in the world.
So you're saying that you're asking on the Hamay now when they say it's like Suda Shem B'Shaita, we should say Sudas Avram B'Shaita.
Yeah, the Gemara is saying that.
Right. So I wonder based on the Gemara's. Let's see the Gemara's teretz. There might be a teretz for you.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, Rabbi.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's see if I get it right. So, okay.
I think that's what you're gonna say.
All right. Let's see. So Lamemra, the Sudas of Avram Avinu adivim mit the Shloima. Do we think that the Suda of Avram Avinu is better than Shloima's vaksiv? Ahi lechem Shloima l'yom echad. The bread. Right, it doesn't really mean bread. It means the food for Shlomo of one day. Shloishim kor silas, 30 kor of silas, a shishim kor kemach, 60 kor of kemach. That's a lot. Asara bakar briim, 10 bakar healthy bakar. Vasara bakar roya umeyatzain, and 20 ox that were grazing, and 100 sheep, levad me'ayil, utzvi, v'yachmor, ubarburim avusim. And that's besides for the deer and goats and the yachmor and barburim. That's barburim was slav dogim, right? We say it in Zmiris, right? Yeah. V'amar Gurion ben Astivon Mishmei derav, or Astion Mishmei derav. Halol lamilan shetabachim. That's just for the dough from the cook. So I don't know exactly what this means, but they have to take dough. Maybe Gershon understands what this, but you basically have to take dough and put it over the pots, so that it would take out the bad stuff.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but Milan Shel Tabachim and all that, right? We have it, but I don't know exactly what it's doing. It's taking out the taste.
They didn't use pot lids, so they used the dough as a lid for the pot. It takes all the steam out of it. It bakes from the cooking of the pot, but everything in the pot stays in the pot.
You mean it's a cover?
Flavor. It's a cover, but it's more. Yeah.
It's like French onion soup.
Here, okay, and that's so I don't understand. And this was the food just for that.
Yeah.
But what do you mean just for that? You're just using the dough. It just went through a bunch of meats, hundreds, right?
All of that went into that dough, and then that's besides for the whole Suda. So this is a.
What do you mean it went into? What do you mean it went into that dough?
They used to eat the dough that they covered the Kedera with. But it was a side dish. There wasn't even the bread, the real bread that they ate. It was more than that.
I'm saying, but what about all the animals?
They presumably chopped up into bits and put in that dough.
Oh, it was put into the dough. It's like the pastrami challah that 550 used to sell. Yeah. That's what this is?
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is talking about. Yeah, I did not learn pshat like that, but I didn't learn any pshat. So, okay, that's what it means. Fine. This is just for one. It's called tzika gedera. I guess that sounds like a side dish. No, that's
one course. That's a whole course.
That's a course.
Yeah.
Why? It's what halal l'tzike kedera.
Lemin Michael Shishmoit Siki.
I know, but is that a course? I guess he's calling one food a course.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. It's like elef nashim hayisham.
Who is the Suda for?
We're gonna see in a minute. We'll see in a minute. So it's like elef nashim hayisham. Shlomo had 1,000 wives. Kol achas v'achas asas leibe beisakach. Each wife made this suda for him. My timer zusura shema etzlisa erayim zusura shema etzlisa erayim. Each one thought that, oh, today maybe I'll be the one. So they did this every single day. I don't know what that means. Okay. But that's how big the Sudas were for Shlomo Melech. Avram ran to the Bakar. Ben Bakar rach v'toiv. And he took a Ben Bakar, soft and good. Ben Bakar echad rach shnayim v'toiv shloisha. 3 animals. That's it. So how can you say that Avram Avinu Suda was bigger? So when it answers Hasam Tlasa Turei Tlasa Gari, there it was 3 men, 3 cows, 1 cow for each one. Hacha l'chol Yisrael. Here was l'chol Yisrael Yehuda. This Suda was meant for Gans Klal Yisrael and Yehuda. Shenemar Yehuda v'Yisrael Rabim Kachol Asher Al Sasayam. They were as much as the sand, and they, I guess, were coming to Shlomo Melech. So Memela, per capita, I guess, they were getting a lot less food by Shlomo than they were by Avram Avinu. Right. So okay. So
could you
answer
compare
Ravon's
that?
question.
But could you compare that when you're doing 3 people and you could pick per capita? It's much easier to serve a lot more to 3 people.
Right. So that's what it's saying. So that's what it's saying. So per capita, Avram Avinu. That's what meaning you have to give an animal to each worker every day. That's basically what the Gemara is saying. Masha'enkein, if you were treating like Klal Yisrael, so you have to give a little bit of food. I mean, the whole Klal Yisrael, to eat all that amount of food that was said by Shlomo, to give it out to the whole Klal Yisrael means people weren't getting nearly that much. Right? Which I think maybe, I don't know if Ben thinks that, this is teretz. I thought that to Rabbar, I mean, he was like, Suza Shlomo B'Shaita is going on the, not per capita.
Right, it's going on the Suda itself.
Right. If you don't go per capita, the Suda of Shlomo was way bigger, way more food.
So what? You have to go per capita. So what? So what?
No, meaning
so a Giant
say,
Stadium, they serve that every game. What is the big deal? Like, what is a big
It
deal?
depends what it's subjective to what. If you're dealing with Sudas, then you would compare it to Sudas Shlomo B'Shatai. If you're dealing with how much a person eats, you would compare it to Avram Avinu.
Right. Basically, yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Right, that's a good way of saying it.
The Shlomo B'Shatai needed a wedding hall as big as Madison Square Garden. Avram Avinu was in a tent.
Right. That's the only way to say it. L'chayrim. So, anyways, my barburim avusim. What is barburim avusim? Right, avusim. A barber is a hen. That's for sure. What's avusim? Avus normally means like a trough. Right? You say a trough. Yeah. So Amar Rav. So what Rav says, so it's a 3-way pshat. What it means. Sha'oiv semoisim bal karchon. They force feed them. What do you call that stuff?
Up to Gens.
Yeah, Papa. What's the English? What's it called? Kwandu? Not
Faux gras.
Faux gras. There you go. Thank you. Faux gras. I ain't even gonna try and spell that, right? But faux gras.
Not so hard. FOIEGRAS.
Okay. Okay. I can tell you one thing. If you wanted me to pronounce that,
it's pronounced faux gras. This is the biggest factory for that is upstate New York in Ferndale. Biggest
they're still doing it over there.
Yeah,
that's where
it's illegal in America. I think he's talking about something else.
No,
Ron's talking about his goose, is stuffing goose livers. I think that's illegal in America.
Why?
They do it.
They don't have a gag reflex. It's not such a problem.
Doesn't Raphael Franklin get his manure from the goose farm? Does he still do that?
I don't know. It's a pretty hefty manure that comes from there.
It's like that's from yesterday's Gemara with the manure of Shvarma, the Rebbe's.
So Chassam Sofer wouldn't eat by Shlomo Melech, is what you're saying.
Okay, because he was anti, because of the Trefus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know, whatever it is. So the first one is that they were stuffed. Shmuel says fakert. Shavusim v'ayim de'me'aleim, like nowadays. This is what we're into nowadays. Free range. And they fatten themselves up. What they did is they brought a shar, an ox from pasture, bidaloy honest, and they didn't force it to work, meaning it was a real fat, meaning it didn't work hard. The tarnagoylis mashbasa and a tarnagoylis female from the dump, bidaloy anisa, without forcing it, meaning they were they weren't forced into do work. They were very independent. So mamela, their meats were much better. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, muvcha shebehemas shor. The best behema is a shor. Muvcha shebeoifes tarnagoylis. Amar Ameimar, zagsa ochmasa beipatnisa. You have a large stomach, meaning a black. Zagsa ochmasa means a black bird. Beipatanisa with its stomach. So it's a large black chicken, hen, I don't know, one of those. The mishtaka beni atzri, if you find it in the oitzer by the wine press, the loy matzia pasikana, because it can't even go step over a kanya, what do they call it, a reed, meaning the thing is it's eating all day, so it could hardly move. Fine. Now we get into the whole Avram Avinu. So Avram went and he ran to the Bakar. Amar Rav Yudah, Rab ben Bakar echad. Ben Bakar means one. Rach shnayim v'toy v'shloisha. That's how we know he went after 3 animals. V'em echad. Why don't we just say it was one? Kedamri and she rachiv v'tov. He got 1 animal that was soft and good. Why are you saying that it's 3 animals? So my answer is imkein lichtov rach toiv ma v'toiv. Why is it saying rach v'toiv? Shma mina lidrasha. So that it's telling you that the vav is telling you the drasha. Okay, so that only tells you 2 animals. We get 3 animals. Ema trey. So let's say it was only 2. Midatoiv lidrasha rach nami lidrasha. Once you're darshing the word toiv, because the vav is telling you v'toiv is telling you to darshan the word toiv. So mela rach is also telling you. So Masav Rav Barula v'itemer Rav Hoshi v'itemer Rav Nasan b'Rabbi Hoshi v'yiten ala nar b'yamar lo esasai. And he gave it to the nar, and he ran to do it. Right? What do you mean oisai? Oisai is a lashon yachid. It should be oisam. So kol chad b'chad yavel nar chad. Meaning he gave each one. Meaning one guy didn't prepare all 3. He had 3 cooks to prepare each one. Then the pasuk vayika chem v'chala v'ben abakar sher also v'yitin lifneim, and he took chema as butter and milk and the bakar, and he put it in front of them. The kama damacha, as the kama damacha, meaning the first, as each one came out, meaning as each one was ready, he brought it to them. That's why it only says in the lashon yachid. Okay, v'lama loy. And why did he need 3? What was the matter with 1 cow? It was a big thing to feed 3 tongues with mustard. So that was the thing. So he wanted to make sure that each one had a tongue. And so that's why he needed 3. A person should never change in the minhag. Moshe went up to Shemayim to get the Torah, and he didn't eat. And these malachim came down, and they ate bread. So Gemara says, did they actually eat? This is one of Rabbi Horowitz's biggest I don't know, kashas on the chumash, right? It looked like they ate.
His pet
peeve. Yeah. That we learn all the chesed from Avinu, and he didn't even feed them. They didn't even eat.
Yaakov,
right?
this year, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This year's every told me pshat from the Alta Mislabatka. The Alta held that Avraham Avinu was on such a high madrega, he was able to make malachim eat. He raised the malachim to the status of Bnei Adam, because Bnei Adam are on a higher level than malachim. So he raised them up to be like people, and they actually ate. That's the Alta says that.
mean, so it's just really, it's just a mushal. Is that
No,
what you saying?
no,
What
that
do
the
you mean?
Alter Saint raised them up to reach the level of Bnei Adam. Bnei Adam are higher than Malachim, right? That's what we believe. Because we have
we hope.
Bechira. That's what we have Bechira.
Yeah.
So he raised them up. They reached the level of Bnei Adam, so they were able to eat.
I think
You mean,
I
they're saying
think
that was all done before. That was all done before this deal.
Reb
That's what
Tzaddik
you're saying?
says that we learn all of it from Avram, even though they didn't get anything from it. The Chesed, we're supposed to do Chesed out the Maisa Chesed, not necessarily
But
if
it's
the other
not a
person benefits.
it's not a Maisa Chesed.
According
It
to
is a
that
Maisa
shot, it's not a
Chesed.
Maisa
If the old lady don't want to go to the other side of the street, it ain't a Maisa Chesed to drag him across the street. Because you hold it to Maisa Chesed to take the lady across the street. It's not a Maisa Chesed for you.
If you
don't want to go there.
if you think it's an old lady and you're being misak in your midas by doing a Maisa Chesed, then I think it is a
Well,
Maisa Chesed. I don't know.
I don't know. Then
is?
the shit
Okay.
will
I
have
think
to
it's in Parshas
suffer.
Lech Lecha, or Vayera.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing, if you want to do my schedule, give me a pastrami sandwich and don't cross me the street, okay? Bring salami on rye with sour pickles.
Yeah.
Okay. Send it over.
Very good. But no, I think I mentioned it in this week's Parsha. This is a good one. In this week's Parsha, Parsha's Bahar, my brother-in-law pointed this out to me a year ago almost. In this week's Parsha in Bahar, I'm looking for the Maramokum now. In the Medrash Rabbah in Bahar, he said, and I don't remember what Perek, maybe Perek Lamed Dalet. Anyways, he says there different chasodim, and he said that from Avram Avinu we learn where he did chesed for people that didn't need the chesed, and yet you see how much schar Klal Yisrael got, that they got taken care of in the future, which the Gemara is going to say towards the bottom here, because of Avram Avinu. Perek Lamed Daled, Medrash Rabbah, Perek Lamed Daled. It goes through 4 types of people. It says, so the first one is Avram Avinu, that he did chesed, and it wasn't even a necessary chesed, and Memela Klal Yisrael was zeicher to so many things. That's the first one. And then they said Amon Amoyav didn't do chesed for people that didn't need chesed, and they got punished. Meaning Klal Yisrael, when they left Mitzrayim, Amon Amoyav didn't help them. They didn't need help. They had an anaya cover. They had the mun. They didn't need it, but they still got in trouble because they should have offered. Right. So, anyways, it's Mamash and Medrash in this week's parsha that talks about that Avraham Avinu did chesed, and it really was not. It was a meaningless chesed.
Didn't we have
So you're saying we should, 2 of us should take you and tie you up, and the third guy should make you a coffee, and we should force you to drink the coffee because you don't drink coffee, and we hold as a chesed. We hold as a chesed. How can somebody not drink coffee?
No, you could just make me a coffee.
No, you have
All
to
it has
drink it. Making a coffee is a
No, he doesn't have to drink it.
I don't have to drink it. I could just make it look like I drank it. While you're not looking, I spill it on the floor.
Avram Avinu didn't force them to do anything. What is going on here?
Yeah.
He put food
Parents,
in front of them and they ate.
We're
They
not
made it
talking
look
about
like
it.
they-
Didn't we have the whole thing about who Sudas was bigger, Avram Avinu's or something? I mean, the 3 cows.
Parents, that was this stuff.
Parents,
So what are you
we
saying?
learned the whole Amid while you're doing laps, okay? Relax.
I understand, but I'm just saying. Definitely not today's daf because I had it up on the recording. And I
No,
was like,
parents, that was a Mishnah. That was the Mishnah. Today's Gemara, parents, today's Gemara explains the Mishnah.
All right, fine. 3 beers in. Okay, you got it.
Baruch Hashem, you didn't drink Zugas and the beers, Baruch Hashem.
Yes, and 3. Keep it to 3, and make sure you stay in the shade a little bit. But anyways, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. Anyways, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Kol mashas, this is the next line. Kol mashas Avram Avinu lemalachi yesharis ba'atzmai. Whatever Avram Avinu did by himself, also Kadosh Baruch Hu lebana ba'atzmai. Kadosh Baruch Hu did for Klal Yisrael on himself, by himself. Kol mashas Avram al yidei shliach, also Kadosh Baruch Hu lebana ba'yidei shliach. Velabaka rata Avram. What do we mean? Avram ran to the baka. V'ruach nasa me'es Hashem. And then it says, and a ruach went from Hashem, meaning that's when Hashem gave them the Slav, right? Was it the Slav that's talking about?
Yeah, it's a slug.
Yeah, it's a Slav. Yeah, that's a Slav. Yeah. But you see, Hashem did it himself. Ayika chem v'cholav, and Avraham Avinu took chem and cholav. Hineni mamte lechem lechem in Hashemayim. Hashem made the mun fall down. Hu aymen aleim tachas eitz. He stood over them under the tree. Hineni aymen lefenecha sham alatzur, by the rock, to make the water come out of the rock. Avram haylach imam l'shalchem, and Avram went with them to send them out. Vashem haylach lefneim yomim. Hashem went in front of Klal Yisrael when they were leaving Mitzrayim. Yukach namat mayim. Said, take a little water, and Moshe hit the rock, and the water came out. So you see that was all done through a shliach. But you see that the schusim that Avram Avinu did for this not even potential, this pretend chesed that he did so much for Klal Yisrael later on. Well, but this last Gemara disagrees with Rav Chanina. Dam Rav Chanina v'chein tana dvei Rabbi Shmuel b'schar shloisha zachu l'shloisha. He has a different shot. The schar of the three things that Avraham Avinu did, Klal Yisrael was zeicher the three things. B'schar chema v'chalav zachu l'man, because of the chem and chama they was zeicher l'man. B'schar v'uaymer aleim, that Avraham Avinu stood over them. B'schar v'uaymer aleim zachu l'amid ha'anan, that they had the anon, and b'schar yukach nomat mayim zachu lebeirish shel Miriam. So he says different. It had nothing to do with Avram, who did it, Avram or his shliach. He's just saying that those were the schusim. Yukach no mayim rachatzu ragleichem. This next Gemara, this one is a hard Gemara to understand. I don't know if there were easier Gemaras to understand. This one is a hard one to understand. Yukach no ma'at mayim v'rachatzu ragleichem. So Avram Avinu said, "Come, take water and wash your feet." Amar Rav Yanai b'Rabbi Shmuel. They said, "You think we're Arvayim, meaning Arabs?" Because they bow down to the dirt, right? Every kid knows this. That Avraham Avinu was worried that they did avodah zarah to the dirt, so he didn't want it in his house, or he didn't want it there, so he had them wash it. So I'm saying, the Malachim saying you chayshid us, they were Arabs. Kvar yatzam imenu yishmol. So because he was chayshid, fake people, that they were Arabs, which why shouldn't he be chayshid them? That's why he was zeicher to have Yishmael. Right? And then Mamela, we're dealing with the Arabs for our whole life.
Didn't he have Yishmael already?
Yeah, didn't he? He had Yishmael. I'm saying the article doesn't read it like that. It says Kfar Yatzit is from him that they answered you.
No, Yishmael went off the derech. Sounds like no, Yishmael. I don't think Yishmael went out from him, meaning that he had Yishmael. That Yishmael went off the derech.
It's not mashma from here. It doesn't say that.
What?
It says
Yishmael became an Oived Avodah Zarah. Yishmael became an Oived Avodah Zarah because of this.
It's the Mashah says it, yeah.
He had Yishmael because of that.
Well, whatever it is, that's how it. Whether it's not, the point is that Yishmael became a goy, however that means,
right.
Because Avram Avinu was chayshid them.
The thing on the article at the bottom, the Mashah said he got punishment that he went off.
It's me the Keneged, no?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, first of all, were they ksherim? They were chayshid b'ksherim, and for why wouldn't he? What was why shouldn't there have been a chashad? There's a bunch of guys that look like, I don't know if they look like Arabs, right?
You're saying what was wrong with him doing that?
Yeah. I mean, and then such a punishment to have Yishmael and all that because he thought that they were Arabs. Okay, a little
yeah.
Fine, let's go a little bit more. Vayera love Hashem Beloine Mamre. Who Yoshe Pesach Oil Kachayim Hayom. Right? So he was sitting in the heat of the day. Mike Kachayim Hayom. Amar Rav Chama Bar Chanina Oisa Yom Shlishi. Shalmila Avram Haya was the Shlishi Mila Vakadosh Baruch Hu Lishal Avram, and Hashem came to visit to ask how Avram was doing. Right, this is also not an easy one to understand. And Hashem took the sun out of its bag, so that he wouldn't have to deal with archim. Shadri, but still, Shadri Eliezer Lemevik Lebra, he sent out Eliezer to go outside to find Archim. Nafak v'lo yashri, he didn't find. Omar, so he said, Loi mehem nelach, I don't believe you. Harodami Taman, this is what they say over there, meaning in Eretz Yisrael, Les hem nuse ba'avdi, you can't believe in Eved, right? Which he sent this Eved to marry off his son. So at some point, he gained some confidence that his Eved is going to take care of the situation, take care of things. Okay. So he went out and he saw that HaKadosh Baruch was standing by the door. Don't go over, meaning don't pass from your Eved. Once Hashem saw, whatever this means, that Avram Avinu was tying and untying his bandages from the Mila, he said, Omar, I should stand here while he's doing this. And that's what it means the pasuk. But he lifted up his eyes and he saw there were 3 men standing on it. Across him, and he ran to call them. In the beginning, they came and stood by him. When they saw that he was having tsar, pain, it's not derech eretz to stand here. So that's why Avraham Avinu had to go run after them.
Is it that it wasn't sneers when he saw them untying the bandages?
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, but I don't know. It could be something else. I don't know. Right? To me, it sounded like a sneeze issue. Fine, let's just do 2 more lines. So, who were these 3 men? Michal, Gavriel, Rafal. Michal, Shabala Basar Sarah. He came to give the news to Sarah she's gonna have a baby. Rafal, Shabala Rabis Avram. He came to heal Avram. Gavriel, Azal Lamhafis, the time he came to flip over Sadaim. 2 of them came, and we were saying that it's only Gavriel. The Azal Michal Ba'adei, Michal went with him. The Shazve light in order to save light. The economy of Siva Yafaches Ha'arim Hakel. He turned over the cities. V'loik Siva Yafchu. Right? It doesn't say Vayafchu plural. So you see, only one of them turned over Sadaim. The other one, Michal, went to save light. Okay. Mashna Lagabi Avram. Dirsev. Why is it different by Avram? This is King Tasa Kasher Dibarta. Do like you spoke. U'Mashna Lagabi light. And why is the difference by light? Dirsev on Tamar Aleph. And he had to convince the Malachim to come to him to eat. Right? Abraham, we didn't have to convince him anything. Light did. You're allowed to turn down a katan, but you're not allowed to turn down a gadol, right? Because a gadol, you have to respect whatever it is that he wants. Which we do paskin. Mishnah Berurah brings this by Chazonim, right? I think what does the Mishnah Berurah bring it by? Something with a Chazon.
Yeah. But if a Rav asks you to daven, you can't tell him no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop over there.
Go ahead. Good job.
How do you translate misarvin? You say like refuse? What's the right translation?
Yeah. Refuse. In Yeshiva Farakwe, when they wanted me to daven for the Amid, they would go get Rabbi Brafman Zechron Levracha, and he would come ask me. That was the way they got me to say yes. I was, okay, Rabbi Reishi, you have never. They made him schlep across the whole Bismanish to me, and then saying the sovereign Magadol. So what should I do? Anyways, okay, we'll say till him. I'm definitely not going to be on before 10:10 because the ice is at exactly 10 o'clock. So I don't know what time they wrote, but yeah.
We wrote 10:05.
Fine. Till him.
Where's the Mishnah Berurah?
It's not going to 10:10.
Jack, apparently
I don't remember.
Stop. They told me I was sleeping.
Yes. Parrots, you were sleeping. Yes, you were sleeping. All right. Take him. Shimmer's Mala Sava Lima Domilacha Tercha Shatish Kaid Elki Neye Vecha Yamon Masanecha Nasurai Shalamcha Yurim Musai Visel to Tzvanecha Amr l'chum nachidem v'gav v'lo yizach Hashem Yisrael like yinoytzu le'yivachta v'lacha b'sichroisu alei adam yishmeel v'yav agrim gov v'amayim v'amalek peleshas v'yoshvei tzargam asher nivla imam ha'Yisrael v'nei leitzela Aselem kividion kisisa kiyavam nachlakisha nishmedu v'endor yidam l'adama shisemenu dever mekahir v'chazev v'chazev v'tzamuna kol esichem asher amr l'shalanu v'es nois elim elihai shisem kagalka v'kash l'fnei ruach kesh devar yoach lav t'lai t'harim kein tidavim b'sarech v'safasol sevalim Malay fnen kol mivaksha shimcha Adonai yevoshi v'volo adeir v'yakri v'yavedu v'yedu ki ata shimcha Adonai levadecha el yona kol aretz achenu kol beis Yisrael anusum v'asar v'asher v'yayim devim v'yom v'yim v'yabasha Amakim yirachim alayim yatzim etzal l'racham efel l'loyer mashibud l'gula hashta b'agalav zman kariv v'noimar ramein. All right, we should have Basuras Taivas. Dalam should have good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
All right.